Welcome back. It is 1666. In the last one, Phineas was reborn into Phineas Hobart. And what else happened? Lots of people died. Squanto died. But Ankis was married, and just so many things. Okay, lots of people died last year. This year, we have a few birthdays. So Sakima Nokomis can't get a 4-8 or a 17. Survived. We have two teenagers, Pullman Waldrick and Caleb Hobart, no 7 or 14. And do they marry? No 1 through 6. Okay. First good news in a while. Pullman Waldrick and Caleb Hobart. Waldrick and Caleb Hobart. Okay. And then Humphrey, who had fled town a long time ago, and then Rebecca have to get at least a 9. Wow, Rebecca's already that age, huh? And then we have end of life roles for Sella. How long will she age for, live for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay. And then let me just stay on that for a second and come over here. Adult or Hope. Ooh, what if Hope dies? 3, 9, or 20. She did not die. And, okay. We have 2 young adults, Amos and Melly. 3, 9, or 20. It's so hard because I'm like, we have too many Sims, they should die. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't want them to die. Sakima Nokomis is a toddler, no 4, 8, or 17. All right, well, we had a lot better of a day today than we had last time. So let's hop into the game. Alrighty, so we are actually going to start with Josiah because Josiah has been feeling pretty lonely lately. Solomon had passed away. They were kind of told to stay, out of town, and he's just lonely, And so he is going to head into town, even though he knows that there are rumors about him and that some people won't like him and stuff. He wants to be part of the community. He wants to, still meet people and talk to people and all of that because people need that. You can't just be by yourself, people need community and they need, friends and socialization and all that stuff. So he's coming out into town. He's, exchanging pleasantries with people and trying to, continue to be a part of this society. But of course, there are going to be those people who shun him or who make fun of him or make snide comments or backhanded comments and all of that stuff because, Isaac, before he died, went around and told everybody that Josiah and Solomon were together. And so obviously that made things really difficult for them. And it was fine because they had each other and they were fine together alone off in their house. But now that Solomon is gone, it's just kind of Josiah all by himself. And, people are, steering clear of him or not wanting to get involved with him or, worried that what does it look like if I talk to him? Does it look like I, want to be in a relationship with him or it becomes an issue. So he, is just taking it all in. He's accepting any criticisms, any harsh words, any whatever, because he's gotten to that point where it doesn't even matter if people are mean to him. He's just desperate for socialization. So he doesn't even care. He is still going to try and come out, and he's just kind of hoping that over time people will just not care at some point, or he'll have been alone for long enough they'll forget. The new gossip will come and that'll be fine, it won't be him and his drama, I guess, that Isaac has caused. So that is what he's doing. He's just chatting with some people, trying to, see who's nice, see who's not, right? So that's what he's doing. And then in the Yazi household, we are going to have Chogun talk to his wife a little bit. So he's going to talk to her because honestly, Chogun is in a really bad place right now. Like he lost his son was killed, and then his other son, they got in a big fight and he basically threw him out. And so now he's at the point where he's like, doesn't have either of his sons. One of his daughters already married off. The other one is looking to marry, though he doesn't really know about that yet. And so he's kind of like finding himself in a position where he feels so awful because, like, he didn't want Ankis to make a mistake in marrying Judith. He didn't want him to, have the same problems that he had. And it's hard for him to talk about that with Weedamoo as well, because she was kind of the solution to his Priscilla problem. And she was his way of conforming back to what was expected of him. But at this point, he doesn't even care. Like, all of that stuff seems so unimportant now that Squanto has died. All of that stuff seems so silly to argue over now that he has lost one of his sons. And so he is going to go over, and even though Ankis is not happy to see him, and even though it doesn't really help their relationship at all, he is still going to come over here, and he's going to see Ankis, and he's going to be like, look, I know that you're hurting too over what happened with Squanto. I know that you are sad too, and that we're both suffering, and I regret the fight that we had. I regret the fight we had because at this point it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't really seem that important, any of it. Like, I was just, projecting my own insecurities, my own, regrets about my past onto you, and I didn't want you to have that same regret. And I thought I was protecting you, but I wasn't, and I'm sorry. Like, it takes a really big person to be like, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I want my son back. I don't care. I will embrace Judith with open arms. I want my son back because life's too short to be estranged from each other. And Uncas is really conflicted about this, obviously. Like they have a very, very red relationship bar, and none of this talking or trying to make friends has made it any better. And, you know, he's out there with Delilah and his dad, but he wanted Judith to kind of stay out of it because he didn't want her to get stressed out because she is pregnant. But yeah, that was a tough conversation for the both of them. But speaking of Melly, she has now decided to go with Amos to meet Muriel. She has not met Muriel yet, so she wants to. She wants to meet Muriel. And so she's going to come over to introduce herself and basically, be like trying to, getting good with Muriel because Muriel is the lady of the house. And her mom actually came with her, and I didn't plan that. I didn't ask her to come with us, but I think actually it might be a good thing. I think Weedamoo would have encouraged Chogun to, talk to Uncas, and I think it's because she knew about Melly and Amos. Weedamoo knew about it, and now she's chaperoning her daughter, basically, like coming with her daughter to this house. So Weedamoo and Muriel, or sorry, Melly and Muriel are chatting, talking, getting to know each other a little bit, and Muriel is kind of the opinion that she doesn't really care who Amos picks as long as she's a respectable girl, which Melly is. Like, even though she's not Puritan, she's still respectable. And that she seems like someone that Muriel could potentially, influence, if you know what I mean. Like, if Muriel ever, wanted to get some stuff done, and she could potentially use her, quote unquote daughter-in-law to be kind of like Amos and like be not submissive to Muriel, but like, Muriel is the wise mother figure, and she, helps the kids and tells them what to do, and like she likes having that control. And so she likes Melly. Even though Melly is being rebellious in seeing Amos, she's a good girl. Like, she's a good person. She's very nice. We don't have any complaints about Melly at this junction. So that is the meeting with Muriel going on. Spending some time with Amos as well, just kind of, the parents kind of overseeing things and, feeling good about a future together. So that'll be really nice for them. And then we are going to, actually, I'm just going to quickly, I forgot to get a picture of Uncas and Chogun talking. So I need a picture of that for my Decades recap videos. So we're going to get a picture of that. And then we're going to head out again. We have a lot to get through today, as per usual. So the next thing is Tom. We are going to go see Tom. Now, he needs to talk to his wife as well because he is worried about Sadie. She's getting older, and now, the whole situation with Squanto and Jason and everything, like they were in public. So everybody knows now. Everybody knows about Sadie and Squanto and Jason and the whole drama, and so he's actually having trouble finding someone for her to marry because at this point he's like, look, you're just going to have to marry who I tell you to because you cannot be trusted to pick for yourself. And so he is trying to find her someone to marry, and he can't really because of all of the rumors that have gone around about her. And so he's also going to talk to her, even though they have a bad relationship right now. He's like, Sadie, I just want what's best for you, and you need to just trust me that I'm going to get you a husband that will take care of you. So he's going to have to start looking at like divorced or widowed men. Probably not divorced, but like he needs to find someone who will take care of Sadie and that will, be the not paternal, but like a patriarchal figure. I don't know how to say what I'm saying, but like, he needs someone who is going to take his daughter in, and she's going to be still a proper lady and all that. And so he is going to go out. And I know if any of you are rooting for Tom, I'm sorry, but he is still a very traditional guy. So he doesn't really care about how old the person is. He doesn't really care about, looks or anything. He cares about money. He cares about, status, and he cares about whether or not they are going to, take care of her and keep her safe and stuff. And so he's going to come and talk to Elliot Waldrick. Now, if you remember, Elliot's been a widower for quite some time. He is older, obviously. I think he's only alive for like another 10 years or something. So he's an old man that he is basically selling his daughter off to. Or I guess not selling, and Thomas he's not familiar with Elliot's past, really, because that was a really long time ago. Elliot has not gotten in trouble for anything for a really long time. He has still gotten into some things, as we know, with him and Isaac, but he never was the person who got caught or got his hands dirty or anything. So Tom does not know that Elliot was involved in any of that. He just seems like a respectable guy with a bunch of kids who might be looking for a new wife to take care of him in his old age. So that is kind of what is going on there. Now, I know that what you're thinking, why wouldn't he be trying to get him to marry one of Elliot's sons? Well, Elliot's sons do not have a great reputation either. Like Edmund is very well known for, philandering all over town and all of that stuff. So and Jason was one of his sons. So actually it might work out that way because Jason wanted to marry Sadie, and that obviously did not happen. And so now their family can take responsibility. Elliot can take responsibility for the fact that his son basically ruined Sadie for any other man. So that's fine there. And then we are going to head to Lydia and Martha. So Martha has, basically snooped around Lydia's stuff and found any spell books and stuff. So she now knows that, oh, hold on, dog's barking. Okay, so she has basically found out that Lydia is practicing magic, and that is obviously not a thing that Lydia wants people to know. And so she is going to, basically, she's still being mean to Lydia. She's like, oh, I should have known that there was something up with you. I knew you'd take after your mother, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to burn at the stake just like her, all these awful things. And like, oh, like now, like, the one thing that Martha is jealous of Lydia and Obadiah because she never, her affections were never returned. And so she's basically like, he's not going to want you anymore once he finds out. Like he's not going to be into you. He's not going to be interested. He's going to, tell on you himself, all this stuff, all this really mean stuff. She's so mean. Martha like started off as such a nice person and then just like, honestly, I think the worst thing that ever happened for her was Sarah moving here and her falling in love with Sarah and basically it ruining her life because she is now so bitter and resentful of the hand that she's been dealt. But Obadiah does come over eventually because they are, dating. And so Martha's going to immediately come up to him and start telling him the truth about Lydia and about how, she's a spellcaster and how she's just like her mother and all this stuff. And Obadiah doesn't care. He does not care. He's like, look, I know Lydia. I know she's a good person. I'm not worried about her. Like, I'm not worried that she would ever, do anything bad to anyone. And, he asks Lydia, he's like, is this true? Like, are you a spellcaster? What's going on? And she's like, I am, but I've just been using it for like my chores and stuff. It's just to make my life easy. Like, I never would dabble in any like black magic or anything evil. And, Obadiah believes her because he loves her. He loves her a lot. And, Martha is not happy with that answer. Obviously, Martha is like, are you kidding me? Like, really? You're just going to accept her? Like, and Obadiah is like, yeah, yeah, I am. So, next, we're going to head over to actually play Ankis, whose wife is in labor, whose wife is in labor right now. So, let's get a bassinet and we'll get this going. So, his wife is in labor and she is going to have the baby, and her and the baby do both survive. Very exciting. And we are going to name the baby Uncas the second because, you know, I feel like he would name his son after him. And so they are going to have their baby, and then after that, I think that fatherhood is maybe making Uncas a little softer to hearing about his father out. Like he is he's thinking, about his dad and about how, he has a son and how he loves his son so much and how he wants his son to know like his family, his culture, his, all of these things, and that will never happen if he doesn't, make up with his father. And he has a lot of conflicting feelings. So he's basically talking it through with Judith. Like he has a lot of conflicting feelings about his father, but his father did promise that he would accept Judith. And does he want to go back? Does he not? His brother has died. He has a son. Like, it just changes the mentality about it, like, you don't want to regret later being estranged from someone. And that's such a hard thing because, I feel like I hear so many like Reddit stories and stuff that are like about family members who deserve to be cut off forever. But like, then, in my own family, like, I have some family member, like there was one family member that was estranged from like the whole, broader family for many, many years. And now they're back and they regret all of that time that they weren't with their family. And so I think that it's a really tough decision to make, and it's really case by case basis, obviously, but it's just such a difficult thing because you deserve to have your boundaries and you deserve to have all of the things that you want in your life. But like, gosh, if it isn't hard, right? So Uncas is really reflecting on what he wants to do and what he's willing to do and what maybe, demands he has in order to make it happen. So now we are going to go see Chenoa, who has been tormented by Hope for many, many months now. And so she's going to talk to Nathaniel, and she's basically going to give him an ultimatum. She's going to be like, look, Hope has been unbearable for everyone in this household, like literally everyone, and we cannot stand it anymore. And so you need to do something about it. You have to do something about it. We cannot take it anymore. So that's what she's saying to him, and she's basically like, we're not going to do this anymore. You need to do something about it. And Nathaniel honestly is kind of sick of Hope too, because she has been making his life hard. She's just making everything hard in the household. And you know what? She should, because her husband is cheating on her, and therefore she should not take it laying down. But like, at the same time, it's like Nathaniel's the head of the house and he's annoyed with you, and there's going to be a problem for you. So he's like, Chenoa would be so much easier as a wife than Hope. Like, yes, that's what he's thinking. And so he is going to basically tell Chenoa, like, it's okay. Like, you're right. And so he's going to come up to Hope and he's going to tell her, like, Hope, we're done. Like, I want a divorce. I'm sick of dealing with you. I want you to move out. Like, I don't want you to be here. And Hope is shocked because, like, her mother always told her that like, they're never going to divorce you because it's bad for their reputation. But the thing is, Nathaniel doesn't care. Nathaniel is not the same as Tobias, because Nathaniel, everybody knows he's trash already, and he doesn't have like this special reputation that he's keeping or anything. He just has himself and what he wants, and he's not afraid to divorce her. And so she's shocked, and she can't believe it. And she thought that, like, if he was going to have to pick between her and Chenoa, that he'd pick her, right? But he did not. And so that is really, really bad. And so she's like, wait a second, like, you can't kick me out. Like, what about the kids? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I'm keeping the kids. Like, you don't get to take the kids. Like, they're my sons. And she's like, well, where am I going to go? What about my mother? Like, what are we going to do? And he's like, that's not my problem. Go find your brother. Like, that's not my problem. And so Susanna, who is like right there overhearing like all of this, has a heart attack and dies. So Susanna like could not believe it. Like, she was just so shocked that she just like dropped dead. This is how I'm getting rid of Sims, you guys. But yeah, Susanna died. So of course Hope is like, my mother just died. You can't kick me out right now. Like, give me some time. And Nathaniel's like, I guess that would be crossing the line. Like, she did just die. So Hope will have to leave next year, the household, and Chenoa is taking control as the lady of the house. And so next we are going to head over to back to our very first like area here with the residential rentals that kind of ended up being super glitchy, but here we are back in this space, and we're here with the Dubois family. So we have Trinity and Mercy, who are the twins, and they are out, in society now, I guess, however you want to call it, whatever it would be called, is they are eligible now. And one of the people that they're chatting with a bit here is Thanks Hobart, who is now a teenager, and he and Trinity just like hit it off right away. Like, they see each other and they get talking, and it's just oh so sweet, and it's like very lovely, and they just get chatting, and they immediately get crushes on each other, and it's just so nice, like they just immediately get this. And they're just chatting away, and it's like they're the only two people in the room, even though there are plenty of other people around them right now. And it just really, if it's very nice for them, and she's feeling very flirty, and it's just great. Like, Trinity is super into him. And so, of course we have like, I think that's actually Hope right there, but we have everybody around, and so they are just spending that time together, enjoying each other. And so they come inside because it's like snowing or something. And so Mercy now sees her sister and Thanks talking to each other. So she comes over to kind of scope out what's going on. And it's hard because the Sims don't stay together. Oh my gosh, he just asked her to prom. He asked Trinity to prom. But Mercy is a little jealous that her sister is getting, the male attention so quickly and so easily and everything. And so she just kind of inserts herself in the conversation. It's like, oh, hey. So she's a little jelly. But now we're going to do birthdays. So we have Sakima Nokomis becoming a toddler, Pullman Waldrick becoming a teenager, Caleb Hobart becoming a teenager, Melly Yazi becoming a young adult, Amos Phelps becoming a young adult, Susanna Harper passing away, and Ankis Yazi the second being born. So very exciting stuff. Next year, we do have the birthdays of Gideon and Phineas, which I'm a little worried about. But I think actually, honestly, I do think that we're not going to roll for Phineas. He earned it. We shouldn't have to roll for him. So we'll see. We'll see how long I keep that up for. But we'll go from there. So let's see what we have there, and I will catch you in the next one.